쪽으로 든지
And then figure D when she's 52. Just reading the legend. So what do you notice? Well, what he probably will say is, yeah, as you get older, you get uglier. Okay, fine. That's probably true. All right, so as you get older, you get uglier. But there's something else going on besides just getting older and uglier. Look at her chin. There's something not right here. And it's not just getting older. There's something else going on. And she actually had this condition of acromegaly. All right, so you should just know that. Okay, just up to the last thing here. At the top of the page, fractures. A fracture is a break in a bone. And there's all kinds of different terminology for fractures. I want to give you about 3 terms for fractures, just 3. So first, what's a simple fracture? A simple fracture is where you have a simple break in the bone, as shown in the picture on the far left. The skin is not broken. All they do is make sure the bone is positioned right, and it will go back together. It's pretty cool. What is a compound fracture? A compound fracture means that the bone is sticking out of the skin. There is a break in the skin. So you say, okay, so what's the big deal? When there's a break in the skin, you can get an infection. You don't have to worry about infection as long as there's no break in the skin. So in this sense, your fracture, your break is now compounded. The problem is now compounded. Now you have to worry about osteomyelitis or bone infections. It's more than just a broken bone you have to worry about. All right, and then the last term that I'm going to ask you to know is an incomplete fracture. An incomplete fracture is also known as a stress fracture, also known as a hairline fracture, also known as a green stick. They all mean the same thing. This is the kind of fracture that occurs in children. Here's an example. Let's imagine, first, as an old person, or walking down a flight of stairs and tripped, and they tumbled down a flight of stairs. In old people with osteoporosis, they probably would have broken every other bone in their body. What if a 9-year-old running up they're playing with a friend, and they're running up the stairs, and down the stairs, and up the stairs, and down the stairs, and on the way down, one of them stumbles and trips and tumbles down the stairs, gets up and keeps running. Well, when they have this hairline fractures in his bones, the bones in children are more flexible. They're not as brittle as they are in old people. So if we actually look at them, there may be hairline fractures, but they just keep going. Now, why it's also called a green stick is if I had an old dried-up stick and I snap it, it just snaps and breaks. But if I had a stick that was green on the inside and I try to snap it, it just bends. It's not brittle. That's why it's also called a green stick fracture. So the fractures in skin tend to be hairline fractures. They heal very quickly. All right, tumors in bones. OMA, the ending OMA, O-M-A, means a tumor. We actually learned that on A4. We learned that term, and you wrote it, you hand wrote it at the top of page A4. So you don't believe me, you can check it. So, osteo is bone, so a benign tumor is called an osteoma. But an osteosarcoma, we learned earlier today, sarcoma is a cancer of connective tissue. So a bone cancer, malignant tumor of the bone, or bone cancer is an osteosarcoma. Okay, that's really all that I wanted to add. I want to remind you that you should be familiar with some of these pictures that we've looked at. pictures like E15, we've looked at, and E17. We talked about all these. So that's really it. Just those, maybe, well, first of all, on any picture, you're only responsible for what I've talked about. So on any picture, just like in your lab manual, there may be a lot of labels. But you only need to know a label when you set something to say. Yeah, in other words, look, everything we talked about is, fair game. It should be good. Well, only in terms of what did I say about it. In other words, if you're looking at, if you're looking at the picture on E15, so that did we learn nasal septum? Did we learn it's made up of bulbar on the bottom and a median or perpendicular plane of the airport? Did we learn about a solitaric and sphenoid sinus? Oh, that's it. That's it, because we talked about it. That's just a picture of the misunderstanding. That's all I was going to say. In the lecture outline, this is page 20. You'll notice at the bottom of E20, it shows how the spinal cord passes through the vertebral column. And you'll notice that there are these spinal nerves coming off the spinal cord. Spinal cord passes through the vertebral column, and these spinal nerves exit through holes or openings between the vertebrae. These holes or openings between the vertebrae are called intervertebral foramen. What does inter mean? Between. So there are foraminal holes between the vertebrae. And here I have a model of the vertebral column with the spinal nerves coming out, and you can see these yellow spinal nerves coming out through holes between the vertebrae, through the intervertebral foramen. It's also shown on some of these skeleton guys where they have the yellow nerves coming out from these openings between the vertebrae. Since we're on this picture, I mentioned right up here the intervertebral foramina, these holes. Since we're on this picture, surrounding our spinal cord and our brain are three membranes. These three membranes are known as the three meninges. Now, how you've heard that word meninges, if you've never heard of it, you've heard of spinal meningitis. Meningitis is an infection of the meninges. So there are three membranes that surround and protect the spinal cord and also the brain. Now, the outermost membrane is called the dura mater. The word dura mater literally means tough mother. Dura like durable, tough, and mater is Latin for mother, like a tough mother. And we've already mentioned that on section D12, when we're learning histology, that the dura mater is made up of that regularly arranged dense fibrous connective tissue, the same tissue that's really tough just like a tendon, and it's to protect the brain and spinal cord. And the context that you've heard that term dura mater, if you've never heard of it, is you've heard if they give local anesthetic, they get an injection of a local anesthetic just outside the dura mater. This space or area right outside the dura mater is called the epidural space, and this is known as an epidural block. So that's where they give the local anesthetic, really lidocaine. In this case, not to numb them out, but to create numbness in the lower part of the spinal cord. So that's commonly done during childbirth. So that's called an epidural. We'll have more to say about that at another time. The next membrane, the middle membrane, membrane is called the arachnoid membrane. The word arachnoid means like a spider web. There was a movie many years ago called Arachnophobia, fear of spiders. And then the innermost membrane, very soft membrane, that adheres to the surface of the spinal cord of the brain, called the pia mater. Pia is actually named soft in Latin, so the soft lover. Now, there is an important space between the arachnoid membrane and the pia mater, and that space between the arachnoid and the pia mater is called the subarachnoid space, because it's below the arachnoid. And what flows through the subarachnoid space is a fluid called cerebrospinal fluid, or CSF. So cerebrospinal fluid is flowing right in this space, the subarachnoid space, between the arachnoid membrane and the pia mater. On E21, so we have this vertebral column, and it's made up of vertebrae, and we divide the vertebrae into regions. And we talk about the cervical vertebrae. The word cervical means neck region. Thoracic vertebrae. Thoracic means chest. Lumbar, which means lower back. Sacral, the sacral vertebrae, and the coccygeal are the tail vertebrae. So neck, chest, lower back, sacral, and tail. Now, there are 7 cervical, 12 thoracic, 5 lumbar, 5 sacral, and 4 coccygeal in an embryo. But what happens during embryonic development is that in 2 of these cases, they fuse together. So as an adult, we still have 7 cervical vertebrae, we still have 12 thoracic, we still have 5 lumbar, but the 5 sacral vertebrae fuse together to form one large sacrum. So the sacrum is this really big, large lower vertebra at the back of the pelvis called the sacrum, and it's really a big one. It's actually formed by 5 vertebrae that fuse together. And the 4 coccygeal or tail vertebrae fuse together to form one tailbone or coccyx bone. If you're wondering whether to know that, of course you do. Here, just for comparison, and you don't need to know it, is a cat. And it has similar big differences kind of like tail vertebrae, because they have long tails. We don't. On the thoracic vertebrae, the vertebrae of the chest, attached to each of the 12 thoracic vertebrae is a pair of ribs. So since we have 12 thoracic vertebrae, we have 12 pairs of ribs. You might say, well, what about men? 12 pairs of ribs. You say, what about women? 12 pairs of ribs. You say, well, didn't Adam get the ribs were taken away from them? If you know Hebrew, it doesn't use the word rib, it means side of the body. Eve was taken from the side of his body, meaning they're both equals. Wasn't taken from the head, she's not better than him. Wasn't taken from his foot, he's not better than her. They were equals. That's the wording from that. It has nothing to do with more or less rib. When we read the Bible, it says and learn how to behave and treat one another, not to learn anatomy lessons or geology lessons or chemistry. All right, they're there to teach you how to treat one another, so we have to ask what that's supposed to teach you. If you take it from the side, you're an equal. Incidentally, in the picture on the top right on E21, so it shows 2 vertebrae, and they're kind of stacked onto one another, and what is between them is the intervertebral disc. That the intervertebral discs are made up of a tissue called fibrocartilage, which is the second hardest tissue in the body, the only tissue harder than cartilage. Fibrocartilage is bone. So that's for discs. And we'll be learning more about the discs later. On the left-hand side, I talk about the discs. We're going to save on disc for when we get to section G, which will be for our second exam. So we're just going to skip that part right now. Let's talk about the basic structure of a vertebra by going back to E20. So back on page E20 at the very top, what is the basic structure of a vertebra? Now I'm going to describe it. We do have models that you can look at. This model will be at the back of the room. This is showing a vertebra. Here showing the spinal cord passing through the vertebra. And we have, of course, loose vertebrae that we can look at that are in the floor. And we also have vertebrae that are kind of strung together. The basic structure of a vertebra looks like this. This is called the body of the vertebra, and the body is facing the ventral or anterior, which means the front side. Here on the anterior, the front, ventral side, the belly side, these are the body of the vertebrae. On the back, sticking out on the back, is the spinous process. And that's, we can all feel that. If you feel our backside, you'll feel these spines sticking out. Those are called the spinous processes of the vertebrae. And that's on the dorsal or posterior side. The opening in each vertebra is called the vertebral foramen or neural foramen. And of course, what's passing through it is the spinal cord. And that's exactly what we saw in the picture at the bottom. How the spinal cord passes through the vertebral foramen. You'll notice that surrounding the vertebral foramen is an arch of bone. An arch of bone known as the vertebral or neural arch. And they divide that vertebral arch into different sections. Now, I don't think that what I'm about to say is the most important information. It would be good to know, but there's some things that are certainly more important to know than others. So the way they divide this arch is the following. At the very base of the arch are called the pedicles. The word head means foot. Or you put your feet on a car, you ride the car, an accelerator pedal and a brake pedal, because that's where your feet go. Pedal means the foot, the base. And then, after the pedicle comes the transverse processes. Now, the word transverse means horizontal. So you will see that there are these transverse processes sticking out horizontally to the side. So that comes next. And then there is a flat area right here and here called the lamina. The word lamina means flat. And then finally, there is that spinous process. So in other words, the lamina are on both sides of the spinous process. So let me explain what a laminectomy is. So the word that I'm saying is this. What does tone or toning mean? To cut, as in this course called anatomy. So literally toning of the lamina, to cut the lamina. So here's the question. If they wanted to access, to reach, if they had to do surgery on the spinal cord, if you're trying to reach the spinal cord, is it easier to access going through the entire belly, drilling through the body of the vertebra, or would it be easier to go from the backside? Obviously the backside. So the spinal cord is running inside the vertebral column.